Are you looking at options for returning to the office and want a desk booking solution that's completely free, uses Power Apps in your Microsoft Office 365 environment? I'm the Productivity Coach, and today I show you how. Hello there, I'm Stuart Reddat, the Productivity Coach, and I'm a modern work customer success manager at Microsoft. And today I want to show you how we can build the Building Access Request Power App in Microsoft Teams. So this is completely free. It is a Power App which uses Sharepoint as its data source, so there's no additional licensing for you. And by putting it right into Microsoft Teams, it makes it super easy for people to be able to access and use to be able to book their places very quickly at the office. So let's have a look and see what this looks like then. Okay, so here I am. So first thing I've done is go to aka.ms/app templates. Okay, so just this address here, aka.ms/app templates. Okay, and then that takes you to this page. And if you just scroll down the side here, there's one here that says building access. So we want building access. Okay, and it shows you this here. And you need to click get it on GitHub. Okay, and this will take you to a GitHub page. It might look a little bit scary, but don't worry. We're going to go through it because when you scroll down, it's got documentation, deployment guide, architecture. So if somebody within your organization saying, oh, but what is it behind the scenes and stuff? You can actually go in here and you can get the architecture model and go through all that with them. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to have a look at the deployment guide here. And actually, if you go here, there is like a YouTube sheet that shows you an overview, etc. But here on deployment guide, we're going to go here and it says to begin, you'll need Power App Studio, Power Automate, a valid SharePoint Online license and permissions to create lists and store data. And then a copy of the Building Access App zip package. So all I'm going to do is just click that and download that. And I'm going to, in fact, what we'll do is we will go on to downloads and I'm going to unzip that. Perfect. Great, because I'm going to use that. Okay, so down here below this, it tells you that there's a load of zip packages that are within those packages and what they're doing. So let's have a side-by-side of this. So we can go through this and we can have the deployment guide here. Ooh. That's better, right. Okay, so, and all I'm going to do is just follow this through, show you sometimes where there's a bit of gotchas and stuff like this. So go to office.com, navigate to SharePoint on the left-hand navigation bar, and then we're going to create a site. Okay, we're going to select Teams site. We're going to call it Contoso Building Access Requests. There it is. Lovely. That's going to give us this. And then it says here, privacy settings, and we're going to set that to public. Language is to English, and we're going to click next. Then if you want to have any additional owners, then this is where you could do this. So let's say that I'm going to add Jack as an additional owner as well. So it's just good practice just to have more than one owner, just in case something happens to you. Okay, so that's step one done. Step two is to create the SharePoint list. So this is where the data is going to be held. Okay, so to do this, the first thing we need to do is import the SharePoint list deployment flow. So we're going to go to, let's just do it over here. I'm going to go, you can go to flow.microsoft.com, or you can just click onto that Power Automate icon there on the side. And we'll just take a moment to do that. So then what we're going to do once we're in is go to My Flows on the left-hand navigation bar. Just accept those cookies. There you go. My Flows on the left-hand navigation bar, and then click Import. And then from the zip file that I unzipped, in there is one called in Flows Deploy SP Lists. Okay, and you can see just down the bottom there, it's just saying that it's uploading your package. Don't navigate away. Okay, so this will only take a few seconds. Okay, and then we just need to validate this. And I'm just going to maximize this. Okay, so we're going to create this as new. So we want to do this. And then here we can see this is red, so we need a bit of setup here. So it says select during import. So what you might see here is a SharePoint connection. Now, if you don't, then you need to do create new. Okay, and we're going to do a new connection. Okay, and we're going to do a SharePoint like this. SharePoint there. We're going to do a SharePoint connection. Might ask us to log in again. There we go. And now if I go back here and go refresh, there's my SharePoint connection. So this is going to allow me to set up what I need to do. And then I click import. Perfect. So we'll just wait for that. That's now importing and we'll be all good. So here it tells you if you don't have that, then you can go through and do that connection. So all of that documentation, all of the stuff I just told you is here. So the next step here is to edit the SharePoint list deployment flow. Okay, so if we click open flow, okay, then it will show me. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. We can just see that loading up there. And you can see here that there are a few things that you need to change. So one of the ones is your target site for where your lists are going to go. So let me just maximize this out again. So actually here is my site here. So I just need to grab that address there. And in here, where it says target site for lists, I need to pop that in there. I'm just going to paste it into there. Okay. And then let's go to our deployment guide. Is it here? There it is. But we'll just switch between those. So here, and then it's saying what's the app name. Okay. So here in mine, I've got the app name of Building Access. So let's just keep that consistent. So we'll call that Contoso Building Access. Okay. And then just here it says save. Okay. And then you'll just notice just in the top left hand up here, it says saving, and when it's done, it will change and then go through to say saved. Okay, and then once that saves, we're going to go through and we're going to run it, and that will create all of our data, lists and setup, etc. for us automatically. So it's great. There you go. So your flow is ready to go. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just click on this this back arrow here. Okay, and once that just loads up there, all I'm going to do is turn it on and click run. Okay, and continue, and then run flow. Oh, I obviously didn't click turn on there. So if that gave an error there saying that the flow was switched off. So if that flow is switched off, then you need to click this icon here, which would have said turn on. I've just clicked it now. So let's have another go at that. I click run flow here, and there we go. And that's done. Let me just turn off my camera here so I don't get in the way. Okay, so that's now running. You can see that's going there. You can refresh the status of that at any point by just clicking the little refresh icon down here at the bottom. Okay, and that will refresh that. So while we're just waiting for that to happen, we'll just go through and check our next steps. So that's going to run through. It's going to create the lists for that, etc. And it says normally takes 30 to 40 seconds. And then it says go to your SharePoint site and verify that those lists are there. So I'm going to show you how to do that at the moment. And then you can just see here, it's telling you what those lists should look like. Okay, so we're going to do that next. So let me just go back to my flow. Just hit refresh. There we go. And you can see just down there that we've got the green thing there, and it says that it's succeeded. If it doesn't, then it probably means that you didn't change one of the values. So hit edit, go back in, check it, etc. So the instructions say to go back to our site, to click this cog up in the in the right hand side, and then do site contents. And there you can see, so we've got app settings, buildings, key questions, answers, key questions, requests, safety precautions, spaces, and time slots. So exactly the same as we have in our deployment guide. Okay, now there are some additional settings that you might want to do within your organization to be able to just configure the security on those. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to try and get through this and get a working proof of concept up as quickly as possible. But it talks you through here, it takes you through step by step how you can do each of those things. You break the permissions inheritance, and then you just set them there. So all of that is already done. It's all documented there. So the next step is to import and set up the building access app. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close down these flows. Don't need those at the moment. And then the next thing does is stay to go to Power Apps. Now you can see that I don't have Power Apps on my left hand side. So I'm going to click on this All Apps icon down the bottom and then click on Power Apps here. Okay. And just going to give me a little wizard just to talk some of these through these things. Great. So we're in the Power Apps portal now. Select apps from the left-hand nav, do import Canvas app and upload the building access zip file. Okay. So I'm going to go to apps, I'm going to go import Canvas apps, and then I'm going to look through my downloads, that folder, and Power Apps, and did it say building access? Building access, that's the one. Building access. Lovely. Okay, and then again, that's just uploading there, and then we'll need to just make a few changes to that. So just scroll down here, and you can see similarly to we had when we had the deployment flow. Some of these connections might exist, some of them you might need to set up yourself. So again, I'm going to just show you how that works once we've done that. There we go. So exactly as I expected. So it's all fine there. Just a couple of connections to make there. So we're going to go to our Office 365 connection. Again, it's not here. So same way as we did previously. I'm going to click Create New. I'm going to do a new connection, and it's Office 365 users. So you can just see here, it's telling you what the resource type is. So Office 365 users, create that. As I say, you might need to sign in again. There we go. And if I hit refresh now, there we go. That's my connection there. Same again on the SharePoint. Now I already did that because I set the SharePoint connection up when I did it for the deployment flow. So click that there and just tick that. Okay, and then I'm going to import it. Okay, just wait a moment. That will take a few moments to deploy. Now we're going to do this a few times because there's 3 different apps. Okay, so then we're going to need to, what we're going to do then after it's imported is we're going to go and we're going to change the connections for where the data talks to. Okay, because what happens is when you get this app, it's configured that it's going to write to like some generic data source, and we just need to personalize that with the SharePoint list that you set up at the start. Okay, so once that happens, we've got this next steps, and it says open and test your app in the Power App Studio, and you need to click Open App. Okay, I'm going to click Open App there. Okay, this is the first time I've run Power Apps, so don't worry about this. If you don't see that or you do see that, don't worry. Okay, so it's told us to go into this, and then we're going to go to these data sources here. Okay, and then we're going to remove all of these green ones that say bar, sales, safety precautions, bar requests, yada, 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 those kind of ones there. Okay, so you might get a pop-up that says like this. So we're just going to say allow for that. Again, that's just giving permissions for those connections that we set up at the start. Okay, I'm going to skip that tutorial. We don't need to look at it again. So as I say, over here on the left-hand side, we want this data, this cylinder icon here. We're going to click onto that. And all of these bar ones, these green bar ones here, we're just going to right-click on them, or click on the ellipsis. Okay, so for each one, we're going to click there, and then we're just going to click remove and get rid of them. Okay, so remove. You get the picture. Okay, and you might start to see red crosses appear and all looking a bit scary and weird. Don't worry. Okay, so the only ones you want are these ones that say SharePoint underneath. Okay, so it'll say bar something, and then underneath it says SharePoint, and it's got this icon here. Okay, so don't remove any of these others because these are all the translation files and things like this. Okay, so there you go. So all of that's fine. Now we've got rid of those. And then all we need to do is just then go and add them back in again, but the ones that we've got. Okay, so I'm going to select a data source. I'm going to go for SharePoint. And you make sure you have this bottom one here, SharePoint, not SharePoint sites. So not this one. We want this one here. Okay, I'm going to click SharePoint, click that connection that we've set up. Okay, and then over here, you will probably get your site that you've just added up. Now, if you don't, you can paste in that address at the top there and do connect, but I've got it, my Contoso building access requests. And then all of those lists, there we go. We're just going to click all of those through again. Okay, and do connect. And just on the left-hand side, you can see that it's got this loading icon. Okay, and they will come in. So before we do anything else, we just want to make sure that they're all there. Okay, so those are all the ones that we want. Perfect. Okay, just check that. So remove that with the ... Go to SharePoint, connect to your list, add them all in. And then from the file menu, select save and publish. So from that file menu, we're going to save and publish this version. Perfect. Okay, we can just close that down now. Okay. Now, it says update the bar create request Power Automate. So something that happened when we imported this building access app, it also imported a Power Automate again. So we're going to go back over to our friend over here, and we're going to go to flow.microsoft.com, or you can click on Power Automate on that left-hand side. But to go over here, we're going to go to My Flows, and there was one here which was called Bar Create Requests. Okay, so Bar Create Requests. So we went there. Okay, we're going to go into that. We're going to click on the pencil. Okay, and it's saying that there's one there called any var site URL, and it's going to have that address in there. Okay, so I'm going to go over to here, any var site URL. We're just going to copy that again. So we don't want all of that other stuff that's all over here. We just want something.sharepoint.com/sites/ whatever you called it. Okay, and we're going to paste that into there. Lovely. And then it says you might see some warning icons. So you might see on some of these, they've got these exclamation points. So it's worth just checking through, just expanding out some of these just to make sure that this is all fine. Again, you can see here, those are all good. But if you do get a warning triangle, that's what the word I was looking for. If you do get a warning triangle, then the guide talks you through what you need to do. But for this one, all we need to do now is click save. Okay, let's go back. Okay, and we just need to turn it on. We've got this yellow bar that says there's a potential problem, and that problem is that it's not turned on, so it won't work. There you go. And you just click that button up there and turn it on. Perfect. Now, import and set up the bar notify approver power app. So this is what sends out notifications to the person who needs to approve the power app. So we're gonna go to flow. We're already there. Go to my flows, click import, upload the bar notify approver.zip package, and then connect it to the Sharepoint, and click import. So my flows, we're going to go to import. Okay, and then we're going to click upload. We're going to look, so we're going to go back. So not in Power Apps, make sure we're in flows and notify approver. Okay, and that's just uploading. We can see that there at the top and at the bottom. Just give that a moment. And again, then we'll have to go through and just do the customization. So we can see here those connections. So the top one here is a SharePoint one. So that should be there already because we've used that a few times now today. But the next one is a Microsoft Teams connection. So we probably won't have one of those. No, we don't. So we're going to click create new. Okay. And then we're going to do a new connection. We've got Microsoft Teams here. So we can just click that and do create. Sign in again. Okay, and now if we go back to here and refresh that list, there's our Teams connection again. So do save, do import, and let it do its thing and just come on in. So same as we had just then, you need to edit that notifier approver. And we're going to go in, we're going to go to the request card. We're going to paste in that address that we've already used. We're going to go to any var site in URL, and I'm going to put that one in as well, and then hit save. So there is our flow. I'm going to do open flow. Just let it load up. So in the request card, okay, up here, I'm going to click that X, and then you can see it's actually already picked up my Contoso building access request site there. But if I hadn't, I could have pasted that address in there. And then just down here on this one, we need to just click the X, this X here, just to clear out this. This is an old list that was based upon the sample that it was installed with. I'm just going to X that out. And then you need to click the requests card. So this one here that says bar requests, that's what you need to do. So click requests. And then initialize variable var site URL into there. Just paste in that address. Same as before. Then we're going to click save. We're going to go back and we're going to turn it on. Hopefully that yellow bar will go. We click flows and then just to go back. And you can see that it's turned on because it's not grayed out. So if it was turned off, it would have been grayed out. Okay, so all good here. Let's just pop back to our instructions. Import and set up the bar calendar reservation Power Automate. Okay, so you should be an old hand at this now. So again, we're going to go to import. We're going to go upload. We're going to go calendar reservation. We're just going to wait a moment. We're going to check those connections. If the connection doesn't exist, then we'll add a new one. And we'll have to go and change some variables. So there we go. So Outlook, Office 365 Outlook connection. So I don't think that we have. Oh, we have got that. Good. That already exists. And SharePoint connection is there. Just click the import and wait for that to come in. Okay, so we can see that that's now come in. We need to click open flow. Okay, let's just pop back onto our thing there. So edit the bar calendar reservation flow. So we're going to go in and say where the item is created or modified card, we're going to put in the site address, the URL, and update the list name to bar requests. So let's just go back to here. Let's take that link. There we go. So item creator or modified. Okay. I'm going to pick building access request from there, and then need to pick bar request from that list. Okay. Under create event v4 step card, please check if the calendar ID is blank. If it generated a random string, please remove it and enter custom value. And then select outputs under the compose section. Okay, so where did it say? Under the create event v4 step card. Okay, now you might find that some of these are kind of hidden away in collapsed menus. So there it is actually down there, create event v4. So the calendar ID, we wanted that to say output, so we want it to look like this. So that's all fine. Okay, under convert time zone step card, update the source time zone and destination time zone with your local time zone, and the same convert time zone to. Okay, so convert time zone, we need to change that. Okay, so that's going to be that for me. And same again. And then we do exactly the same on this one here. Again, setting it to local time zone. Okay, and I'm going to save that. Okay, and again, just make sure that it is turned on. If it is turned off, it is not going to work. Perfect, right. Import and set up the building admin app. Okay, so we're going back into Power Apps here. Okay, and we're going to go to apps, and we're going to import the Canvas app, and we're going to upload the admin app, and that's what it just said. Okay. Just wait a moment for that to upload. And I'm going to import that. There we go. This one didn't have any connections or anything to authorize, so that's fine. And again, in this one, we're going to do exactly the same thing as we did earlier. We're going to remove all those SharePoint lists and then add them back in to have the correct ones. Okay, so just do all of that stuff. And then we're going to do exactly the same again for building security. So we're going to import that, remove all of those SharePoint lists, add the SharePoint lists all back in. Okay, and then obviously save and publish each of these. So this is admin. We're going to open this up. Okay. And we're just going to wait for that to open. Okay, click allow on here. And then when that opens on that side there, I'm going to click onto there, remove all of these ones. So remove spaces, safety precautions, requests, logo assets, key questions answers, buildings, and app settings and time slots. So just making sure you've not got anything that says bar in there, because it might have got split up. Okay, so here in the data source, we're going to put in SharePoint, pick our SharePoint collection, pick our access requests, and just tick all of these. Again, being really careful to make sure that we are ticking all of those. Giving it a moment just for that to load. Okay, and then they will all appear on the bottom. There they are. And we're going to save and publish that. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to do that exact same thing again. So apps, import Canvas app. This time we're going to go for the security one. Just wait for it to upload. Then we're going to look to import it. This only takes a few seconds. There we go. We've not got anything to, we've not got any connections to add here or anything here. So that's all good as well. And then once that imports, do exactly the same as we've done for the admin app and the access app, is just open that up. Okay. And on the left-hand side, just going to remove those data sources and then re-add them in. Okay, so the next thing just after that, just looking ahead, we're going to need to add an admin team. And then we just need to set up these apps and get them ready for usage. So there we go. Right, so we've got our apps here. So let's just remove these, remove all these SharePoint ones. Again, don't worry about those red crosses. And you might find that even once you've removed them and re-added them back in, you might find that some of those red crosses still persist. In which case, what I would say is close it down, save it, close it down, and then reopen it again. Okay, so just go into my SharePoint connection, just go into my building access request, and again, pulling in those lists. There it is there. Hit and connect. Okay, so you might see here, we've still got this error that's existed there. So again, if I save that and publish that, just leave that. And then if I open that app up again, then hopefully that red cross will have disappeared. There we go, you see it, and that's disappeared now. So it is worth, if you do have those red crosses, just closing it down, doing whatever, and then coming back. Okay, so the next thing it said we needed to do was create a team. And this is for admin. So this is for kind of if anybody doesn't have an approver in, or doesn't have a line manager in Active Directory or whatever, it all goes into there. So I'm just going to create a new team, which is going to be from scratch and private. Okay, I'm just going to give it a name. So we're going to call it Building Access Admin, because it's just going to be for our admins to be able to approve any of those special requests where they don't have a line manager. Okay, and then we could just skip adding members or owners or whatever, but we're just going to add in, let's just add in Nestor as well. He can be another person who can be an approver. So I do that and click add there for Nestor. Okay, and close that. And then we could have different channels in here. So let's just add a channel here for access requests. You can make this work with other ones that you've got here. You don't have to have anything special here. Okay, so let's find those instructions. So set up an admin team, add people in, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now it's actually to the part to set it all up and start to create that initial content. So here it's saying we need to go into the settings of the admin app. So if I go back to Power Apps here and click Apps, I'm going to go on to the admin app, just open it up and close some of these other things down here. There we go. And we're going to go to settings first of all, just set it up. So here it's saying how many days in advance would you like to be able to book? What's the error message if you try to book too far in advance? Okay, and now it's got the building admin team ID and the building admin channel ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this access request here. and I'm going to get link to channel and copy that. Okay, and then I'm just going to paste it in here. Now you can do this, there's a few ways you can do this. You can do this in a notepad if you find it easier. You want this thing that says group ID. It says group ID equals, and then it's got this number here. So I'm going to delete everything before and then everything from this ampersand afterwards. Okay, so you should end up with a number that looks like this. And then the channel, again, I'm going to paste it in, get to the start here. And it says teams.microsoft.com, blah, 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 channel /. So we're going to get rid of / and channel beforehand. Ooh, there we go. So it should start with 19. Okay, and then it says blah, 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 thread.tacv2. So the / onwards from there should go as well. So it should say tacv2. Okay, now this is saying if you fail an eligibility test, so these are the questions that you're going to define in a moment, then say you cannot enter, please speak with your manager. Okay, and then here there's a few options on whether we have inline buttons and safety precautions and eligibility, like asking the eligibility questions before you make your bookings and allowing users to select alternate approvers. So I'm just going to say yes for everything here. Okay, then you need to have at least 2 time slots. Okay, so I'm going to say morning and I'm going to say afternoon. Okay, now that's not to say that people have to use those time slots, but you do have to have 2 time slots in. So now we've done that, we're going to go back and we're going to go save and next. And you can go back and forth between those. Now we're done. We're just going to click that home icon up there. So it mentioned those eligibility questions. So we're going to just create those there. So the answers should be no. Okay. So have you had any COVID symptoms in the last 14 days? Okay. And hit publish. Do it again. Have any members of your household had any COVID symptoms in the last 14 days? Okay, I'm just going to have one more. Say, have you or any members of your household been instructed to isolate during this time? Okay, and that one. So now we've got 3 questions here. There's a few other things, so you could have safety precautions. So let's say that there were new hand washing procedures or new hand sanitizing. So let's say new hand sanitizers. Okay, so we could say each floor has a hand sanitizer at various locations. Please use when entering or exiting a floor. Okay, now if this applied to particular countries, you could put those in there. If you had a link off to another web page, you could do that in there, but we're just going to say publish for that. Okay, and then it comes to the part where we configure our buildings. So let's say that we've got building 1. Okay, and this is going to be 1 Microsoft Way. Okay, in the United Kingdom. Now, what type of building is it? Is it an unmonitored or a monitored building? So a monitored one means that you're going to have a security guard or someone who's going to scan you in, and an unmonitored one means that you do a self-check-in. So we're going to keep this as a monitored one. And then how many of the desks are going to be approved automatically? So we could say, if we said 100, then that means that all the desks are automatically approved. Obviously 0 means that all desks have to go through an approval. Okay, so, or obviously you can set a number in between that. So let's just leave it as let's leave it as 100. We'll keep it simple. Just let people automatically get approved. Okay, eligibility criteria. So we might say that you've been identified as a key worker. One, you have manager approval for on-site access. There we go. You can write anything like that. And then what are the on-site access instructions? So check in with security. Okay. Note, there are no catering facilities. Okay. I'm going to save and next. And then we've got these spaces. Now, spaces might be a floor, it might be a certain office. You could go down even to have a space being an individual desk. So we could say that we were going to have the exec office, okay, and that's going to have 4 seats. And we could have R&D, and that's going to have 6 seats. But we could have desk B1, which is just going to be 1, desk B2, 1, etc. And you could set all of these up there, and we can go save and next. Now you have the option here to set a default approver for the building. So what happens is that when somebody signs up, then it will send an approval to their line manager in Active Directory. But you might want to say, well, actually, we want to route all the approvals to an individual. Now, if you do, you can click that in there, and you could pick. So let's say all building approvers are actually going to go to Nesta, and we can publish that. Okay, and we could create other buildings, etc. for that, but we're not going to today. So that's there, that's all done there. So the next thing we can do is just show what that access app looks like. So here I'm now looking at booking my my place here. So just loading up the app for the first time. There we go. So I'm going to make a new request. So here it's asked me my questions. So I say, no, I haven't had any symptoms. No one in my family's had any symptoms. But yes, we have been told we need to isolate. And it's saying you cannot enter. Please speak with your manager. So once I've finished my isolation, I'm going to say no. There we go. And then where's my space? So I'm going to go to building 1. And I'm going to go for team meeting. Okay, it's got that eligibility criteria there. Okay, when are you going? So we'll go today into the exec office, check availability for that. Great, I've got availability. Now I could do that for a number of days. So I could say actually for the 8th, I'm going to go and I'm actually going to be working at desk B1. There we go, and add them in like this. Okay. So that's all fine. I'm going to go next. Okay, the approval is going to go to Nesta, although it's not going to because we're approving everything automatically. So I can do submit. And then we just need to wait a moment. You can just see it's working there at the top. There we go. And we've successfully created our request. And then when we go back home, you can see now on the front page, and this would work if it was mobile optimized or anything. Just say that I've got a full day booking here at desk B1 in building B1. And then when it comes to me actually checking in, I'll just hit that forward arrow there. And it tells me here that I need to check in with security. And then I need to hit this arrow here. And you can see here it's got a QR code for the security officer to scan to let me in. It tells me when my request is, etc. You can see those on-site access instructions. It says that it's auto approved. And if I didn't want to have it anymore, then I could just hit that withdraw button there, and I could withdraw that request. And then that's now gone again. So other things, you can see those safety precautions that we mentioned there, we set up as part of that. That's included here as well. And that's how you can use that to book spaces. The other parts are, for instance, the building security. The building security app is actually optimized to go onto a phone. So I'm showing here, but you can see that it's giving me this error saying that it has a camera control, which I can't use. So hold on, let me just add my request in again because I've just withdrawn it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and we'll book that back in again. There we go. And then once that happens, great. There we go. Let me just refresh the app. Okay, so you can see here, if I was that security officer, I could say, actually, I'm working building 1, and I can see that one person has been approved and one person is yet to arrive. I can see how many people are on site and how many people have checked in. Okay, so then if I was on a phone, I could click Validate Access Key. Now you can see here it says the barcode scanner is not supported in the web browser. So what that would do is that would open up the camera control on my device, and then I would just be able to point it at the other person's device and it would check them in. But failing that, I can click onto Request List here. I can see that request there, and I can just check that person in manually. And you can see here that when we're scanning someone in, it presents us with those questions again. So these questions we set up. So you might not have had, you might have said no to all of these at the time when you booked it 2 weeks ago, but we're just asking for confirmation again. So we say no, no, and no. There we go. And now that person has been checked in. If I go back to the security officer, there we go. You can see that one person is now on site. And then same thing as before, if you were on a phone, you could click Validate Access Key to check them out. But if we're just on a PC, we can just say View Request and check out. And that person has now left the building. Okay, so hopefully that's given you kind of just a little bit of a view on how you can get set up with the Building Access app. Just very brief details on how that works and how you can use it within your organization. Obviously, it's a power up, so you can extend that and change that. So if you're saying, oh, I want it to do this, then that is completely your gift, because it is open source, so you can do whatever you please with it. Alternatively, if you want to pay somebody else to do that, then there are a number of Microsoft partners who can help you to do that as well. So hopefully you found this useful, and I'll see you again on another video.